Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another ear tip review. Today for you I have something some of my viewers requested, the TRN T ear tips. Yes, today we are taking a look at one of the super budget brands out there for the most part, and that I've not had a great experience with, and we check out how their super budget ear tip actually is doing. That's the packaging, how you get it. At the back here there is beneath a sticker, also a frequency response that they show us what it's supposed to do. Pretty nice that they are upfront with this, what it's supposed to do, and we see actually in graph. That is always nice to see. And yeah, this is one of those tips where they also even tell us a few more details. The silicon is to be 0.4 millimeters thick, and the outlet is supposed to reduce, in quotes, unnatural resonances. And there's supposed to be a rigid groove supporting structure. And yeah, I've actually measured the thickness of this tip, obviously, when I can. And I think they're about right. This comes in at about 0.4 millimeters thin/thick, depending how you want to see it. In my books, this is medium thick material. And yeah, it's only available in S, M, and L. S being 11 millimeters, M being 11.9, and L being 12.8 millimeters. And yeah, the one thing that is really important to note about this tip, it is first, it's shorter. It's about, what did I note, 8.3 millimeters for S, 8.8 millimeters for M, and 9.5 for L. And then also the mounting, as you can see, is slightly recessed to the inside or to the front. And that means it will also mount more, like really give you a deeper insertion with most IEMs here. And that means, yeah, for me personally, I do like an SS. My ear canal is pretty small. SS would be nice. This should be about 10 millimeters, and there absolutely is an XL missing. Like with a tip that is a bit shorter like this one, and inserts even a bit further inside, or makes a bit deeper insertion, there needs to be an XL for people with bigger ear canals. I would guess at least 13.5 millimeters. This should be wide. So yeah, we actually have a good variation in sizes, and people don't struggle to get a good fit on medium short nozzle IEMs. Yeah. But the real kicker about this tip is how goddamn cheap this is. Depending on where and when you buy it, I saw prices fluctuating between $1 and $5 for 3 pairs. This is really the cheapest tip I have gotten yet. And I paid $4 including shipping, so it's like 3-point-something euros if I remember correctly. And that makes it about, yeah, like $1.3 per pair. That is really the cheapest I've tried so far for like branded ear tip in quotes. And that brings me directly to comfort here. And yeah, as I said before, you need to know that this tip actually is inserting deeper, because yeah, the mounting mechanism is a bit pushed to the front here. And it's also a bit shorter than other ear tips out there, at least in SS. And this means I can insert this rather well or rather deep in my ear canal. And honestly, I think this is a very nice fitting tip to my ear. On most nozzles, this fit me absolutely well. And one thing I really like this on, honestly, is the Kanta here, review coming soon. Really fit me well with the Kanta, like really fits like a glove in my ear canal, really nice with this one. Yeah, and I also think most people won't have a problem with this, assuming you get the right size. And because it's so cheap and there's no variety pack, you can also just buy 3 pairs and you won't break a buck. It will still be cheaper even than budget IEMs. So yeah, that is nice to have. Yeah, but as I said, there's an issue here. There's no SS if you have a really small ear canal, and also no XL. And yeah, I think XL is really the one that's missing with this one. Because if I use this on shorter nozzle IEMs, for instance, the AJ07M or the S12, like shorter nozzle IEMs, it's not quite cutting it, honestly. Like, it's still fitting me well enough, but I really have to press the IEM inside my ear canal in order to get this to seal well. And I think this might be an issue for some other people as well, because yeah, there's no in-between sizes, and yeah, XL is also missing, as I said before. But overall, I think this is a very comfortable tip to my ear if I get the right IEM, and I can literally wear it for hours on end without any issues. And then noise isolation. Again, assuming you get this to insert well enough and you, actually seal your ear rightly. Yeah, I think this is a pretty decently isolating tip. The material, again, as shown here, is medium thick. Like, it's not medium, it's a tiny bit thicker than that, but it's also not even close to being as thick as it would be, for instance, on the XLR Stacks 2. And yeah, that means you do get a decent isolation out of this. That is okay for most situations, but definitively gets beaten by foam tip and also by X-Elastics too, and even the Tangzhang Kai small bore outlet. And I would give it, what did I note, like a 6 or a 6.5 on my artificial isolation scale, where 10 is very good foam tip, like perfectly fitting, and 1 is like really bad silicone ear tip. So yeah, it's pretty good, but not the greatest. And then again, shaping sound, starting off with subjective, and again, let me stress, before I measure something, I always listen to it, just to not influence me. Unfortunately, I saw the measurement here when I unboxed this, so maybe I was biased by it. But yeah, to my ear, honestly, there isn't much of the claimed effects here. Again, the claimed effects are, as you can see here clearly, supposed to reduce like 5K, not so much at 9K, and then a bit after 10K, that's what they claim here. And to my ear, I think compared to my reference ear tips, it's pretty much the same. Like I don't hear much of a difference at all. Like 5K seems to be pretty stable. The mid seemed to be stable. Bass seems to be stable. Like bass impact was not reduced at all. And also imaging was pretty much on par with everything else. The same as soundstage. Although again, occasionally, like with some IEMs, I think with the S12 I noticed, there seems to be a reduction at like 9K or past 10K, something like that. It wasn't as strongly pronounced as with other ear tips, but I would say there is a reduction in this area happening. And if I would put a number on it, maybe 2-3 decibels at best, something like that. And yeah, everything else seems to be stable. So yeah, not a special ear tip at all. And really, I can't confirm subjectively how they claim it measures, which we now check out objectively measured again on Quintet. And we are looking at the Quintet measurements with and without pinner, and also AJ07M measurements with and without pinner. And I mean, you probably see in the background here, this again measures very close to my reference ear tips, like there isn't much changes going on. And again, let me quickly show you the graph. That's what it's supposed to do. I can't measure this. It definitively does also, according to measurements, reduce a bit at 9K and upwards. And yeah, that seems to be dampened more on the lines of other like smaller or even wider outlet tips. But it doesn't seem to reduce it a lot. And if you have an IEM where you really need an upper treble reduction, I don't think this is cutting it for you. But if you have something where you might want a bit of upper treble boost, well, that's also not going to give you that, according to the measurements. Definitively something like the liquid silicone ear tips would boost upper treble a bit compared, but this one does not. So again, in summary here, doesn't change much, maybe a bit in the upper treble, and you should be fine with this in terms of, yeah, sound signature. And then next we come to additional factors, and the first one, again, let's tackle the material. I don't know what exact silicone they're using here, they didn't specify, but this is definitely on the sticky side. It's not even close to being as sticky as the X-Elastics here, that shit is a whole new sticky level, but it is a bit sticky, and if you don't like that, this tip will not be for you. Also, that means, as you can see here, mine looks a bit dirty, and I cleaned it like 2 days ago and just used it for another session before recording this, but you can already see it still looks a bit dirty, and yeah, it's the sticky nature, so you need to clean it more often, but because this seems to be just regular silicone, you should be fine with alcohol, you should be fine with soap. Just don't put something really aggressive on it, as it is with all silicone ear tips, but you should be fine with basically anything. Yeah, and then also let me tackle the mounting issue here again. You can see this is recessed inside, and that means this tip, while being good for medium short to medium long nozzle, like in the medium realm, plus or minus, I don't think it's particularly good for short nozzle IEMs, and also not for long nozzle IEMs, because yeah, it just lacks the SS size for that. Mounting wise though, while the hole isn't the biggest, it's actually pretty stretchy, and it easily goes even on some IEMs with 6.5mm nozzle, like not much of an issue at all. So you shouldn't have any issues with that. And durability wise, I have been trying this since 2-3 weeks, something like that. Yeah, and it looks pretty much the same as V-tips look inside here. It didn't seem like it decolored or colored, and you can see its sticky nature. Just have it now tilted in an angle, but it still just stays as it is pretty fine. So yeah, see the stickiness here. But yeah, my point was, it seems to be fine durability-wise. Like, I haven't much complaints here. Also, that the ring around the outlet here gives you some additional, like, grip in your ear. I think this should be a lasting tip, but not as lasting as some other thicker silicone ear tips out there. And that brings me to the conclusion. Yeah, I have to confess, when I got this ear tip, I really didn't have any expectations, like not even high expectations. I didn't expect anything of this tip. But thankfully, I listened to my viewers and bought this, because this is actually really not bad at all. Actually, in the contrary, I would say this is a rather good ear tip here, especially considering the price of $1.3 per pair. Yeah, this is a very comfortable tip to my ear, and if you know what size you might need, as usual, but even if you don't know, just buy 3 sets of this. Like, you don't need a variety pack, it's so cheap, just buy S, M, and L and see which one is fitting for you. Yeah, but again, let me stress, I can't give it a full recommendation, because the mounting issue here and the stickiness just mean it's a bit more special than like a really generalized tip that would be working for everybody. But it is a very good tip, considering the price point especially. So I will give it a careful recommendation if you are aware that mounting here is a bit, yeah, more pushed to the front, and that there's no SS or XL for you. So yeah, careful recommendation. Good job, dear, and like really, I'm surprised by this one. It is good. And yeah, that's it. Hope you enjoyed it. Questions, recommendations, criticisms, please leave a comment. Donspektor